All right, next up is Veron versus Edward. Let's watch it.
I was there before it swapped location, and then it swapped location, and then, like, yeah, you got it. Right, it was over there, and it swapped over.
Yeah, really fast, but awesome. Let's back it up. Okay, and watch it all the way through. Okay, oh, sorry. There we go. We've got our salutes. We're starting out, and you can't quite see it, but I really appreciate the distance that these two are starting from. This is, in my opinion, true, proper out of range, which is where I think all duels should start. I think all duels should start out of range because I think it allows you to stop and think about what's happening in the fight. It allows you to really prepare. So if you're going to go into a fight, salute when you're ready and then start out of range. That gives you the maximum amount of time to really settle into what you're doing and who you're fighting. The two of them, again, stand off, thinking through each other. There's nothing wrong with taking time to think. Sometimes you need to fight and compete and really push for that time to think. So there's nothing wrong with that, especially when you're fighting someone that you're unsure about or someone that you really have to puzzle through. So now we're approaching. Both of them are kind of sizing each other up, and I think this is a great kind of move from both of them. Edward has dropped into a really solid stance. He's claimed his line in the middle with his offhand up. Really kind of basic standard stance, really strong. Veron has attacked first, which I think is always good. It wasn't really meant to kill. What it is meant to stop any forward momentum. Pause. Let's see what happens. And it does. It pulls Edward backwards. Just a single shot pulls Edward's kind of quick step advance into a position that maybe Veron can take through. So now we've got Veron with his sword up. We've got Edward with his sword down. Both are thinking through, where can I go next? Okay. Bring it back online. Starting to have a conversation, eyeing each other. Okay, this is the moment for Veron to strike. We had just made contact with the swords, and you're going to see that Edward's sword is dropping. He's made contact, and then his sword drops. But Veron's sword is still right here, lined up. And so you can see as soon as Edward's sword starts going down, Veron is going to have a line in towards Edward. It's a really good moment because you can see that it's there. The thing is I think Veron took a shot where he could have taken here, instead went down low towards the leg, and I believe it's because you have this forward leg really solidly planted. You got to imagine there's a knee there and a shin that's just so firmly planted. It's a great target, especially when your opponent is moving their sword in a way that you can reach out. Edward is thinking defensively, pulling back. The range wasn't quite right to get that. Sort of resetting, and now we're going to try again for these stretches. These moments to strike are really good when the swords are not moving towards you, because now you have a split second to reach. I think he's timed it perfectly. The range is just off. Maybe he slapped it flat instead. But this is where I think if you know someone's going for your feet, this is where you really start paying attention to what's happening up high. Because right now, Edward's sword isn't really doing much, whereas this line is open and can really be claimed if he wants. So instead he goes for a 7 block, pulls his foot back. So again, this is where that footwork down here is all he needs, which can leave his sword free for that strike. Okay. Now we're going to press a little bit because Veron's sword is back out. Edward has taken some ground. Brought his sword up very cleanly to get this. And now this is where we just saw Edward advance, claim it. Now Veron is coming back in that, again, parry riposte. We've blocked, and now we're coming in with strong footwork, really rushing back Edward's stance against him. But Veron's hand was up to kind of keep his sword at bay. He's fighting from the outside line. So Edward currently has the inside line. Veron has the outside line, and he's looking for a way to bring his sword in and keep Edward's sword out. But Edward so far still has the inside line. And this is where we're coming in. Right here is the killing blow, right here in the underarm. The fact that Edward kept his inside line allowed him, with his point control and keeping his sword online even during the press. You see he's trying to make this really pretty 3 block against Veron, but he still kept his tip pointed in towards Veron. It allowed him to land that shot as he retreated to get that final kill. And he's really pulled in everything that's going on. His arm is down, his sword is in. He's really trying to absorb that shot, and as soon as he can, he's pushing it away from him. And I love that Edward brings his offhand in and steps through to change the positioning and really get away from the tip of Veron's sword, which is over here, towards the backside, which is much safer. And as long as he has control of it, he's not worried about a draw cut. And so being this close, I think Edward did a really good job playing in close range, taking control, and having his point online allowed him to get the kill during that press. And Veron acknowledges that it happened much earlier. This is one final thing when it comes to someone who's charging forward. Whenever someone is pressing like that, it is always good to just keep your defense up for like an extra 3 seconds, just to say, hey, I'm going to maintain my defense, I'm going to keep going. The sensation of realizing, hey, I did in fact die, I did get a shot, can help. And so even though you may feel that you landed the shot, keeping a sharp eye and keeping tabs on what's happening like Edward did is always great, to just make sure you don't end up with a double that happens afterwards.